Okay, good evening everyone, and again, welcome. We are about to start our show. Please, during the reading, if you want to clap and do your snaps and say things like, that was a delicious line, please do so. If you want to go and get some food and say, this is delicious wine, you can go do that too. I know, thank you. For the people that caught the joke. Yes, Poet is in the house. So we are going to start. We're going to have 2 readers first. Afterwards, we'll have a brief intermission, and then we'll have our last 2 readers. And actually, I messed up already because we don't only have readers tonight. We also have a musician in the house. So please give it up for Katie Ann. Katie Ann's going to be here to give us some music today. But first, we are going to start with my boy from Jersey, Leslie McIntosh. Leslie McIntosh, all pronouns respectfully used, is black, male presenting, male attracted, autistic, an older millennial, a poet, and a fictionalist. Leslie has received fellowships from the Bread Loaf Writers Conference, Callaloo Creative Writing Workshop, Jersey City Arts Council, Malay Arts, The Watering Hole, Zooglossia, and more. Leslie's work has appeared or is forthcoming in numerous publications, some of which include Addie Magazine, Epiphany, Indiana Review, Obsidian, Plowshares, Witness, and the anthology In the Tempered Dark Contemporary Poets Transcending Elegy by Black Lawrence Press in 2024. Leslie is a chapbook editor at Newfound and lives on the stolen land of the Munsee Lenape, currently known as Jersey City, New Jersey. Give it up for Leslie McIntosh.
Sorry. That's a useful subjective lens that I often forget about. So thank you. Shout out to Dimitri. Dimitri added me onto this lineup very super impromptu after I saw him in South Jersey. And I didn't get to do something else, and I wanted to do something else, and I couldn't do that other thing, but he said, oh, you do this, and so here I am. So I'm really grateful, and I'm going to read some poems. Woo! Abroad is the aperture as Bildungsroman is to nearsightedness. One dawn, my bed full of screws, and still I demanded sleep. Syringes full of sleep. Sun breaking my forehead open as though I would see beauty. The dream gone, but not its slip, its slide. Hove lyrics scribbled backward over algebra, laid on a first mix CD, past the Courvoisier and how soon is now, impossible as new shoes on the bus driver. Piles of mock trial workbooks highlighted and dog-eared until their words were only accessory. Teaching me the near homelessness that is meaning in any symbol, the perfect deceit of words along flesh, think, boy, and pink, and insurrection as Spice Girls. Over the ledge of my bed, miles down is the bedroom floor of an Atlantic City row house. Fresh bullet stoma are walls. I'm safer asleep. Still in dream, I'm followed by this prescription, pants too big, kicks made for unrequited sports, gravel unchecked in my voice, too afraid to ask for pearls. These rules marched me into a hard winter. I lost myself within it without knowing. Wolves encircled me, closer, closer. Their protection seemed true till I could see them clearly. Thank you. So this is Semper Fi is the eminent domain as sanctuary is the vertigo. Shifting in the photo that is also a map, two-dimensional but strangely erect, not distorted yet. Wind in the ribcage, wind in the marrow, charted from exterior view because the inside was a hoarder's nest. Myself on the floor lined up in pieces. I loved me that way until the army came banging. I was alone. Mom was at work. They blew the door up. Smoke and debris flew so surely it must have been our apartment spiraling all this time. Otherwise, how could me be casually smithereens here at home in my own business, right? Me, mixed perfectly with the detritus strewn across the tender order I shared with my mother. They swept the area. I stood there. I said nothing. I shook all their hands before they filed away. I nudged bits of me with the toes of my dirty boots. Discreetly, of course, you know. I love analogies because I don't have to be one thing, which kind of explains how I position myself in bios and things like that. So yeah, I tend to write about that. This is the last of that you'll hear from me tonight. This is Imagine Distinct from Anticipate. Inconsistent love like harpsichords and my ASOS drawers on the floor, ostensibly neutral. Music is gray until danced. My private skills damp with company, moist interlocutor, come sweeten my name. Break the trellis in my blood, climbing toward the last lit window. Keep hanging until the flaming rope of dead sheets drifts toward you. This is your only choice, my best negotiations at work. On one side, you will find my house refused to burn down, the only bedroom a shrine to closure. On the other, a perfect blackness develops coherence. It shines, but won't welcome me. And I also think about epistemology a lot. I never say that word right, but I think about it all the time, so that counts. And you'll hear that in the last few poems. Archival research. What's known doesn't lie, but maybe it arches its back. Rounds it, unfinished, approximate, leaning toward a corridor, a community of doors. Our attention is invisible. Its aftermath, cartographic. Our presence here is no miracle. This page is no accident. To the right of this voice are other voices. Who chose this one? What leads us to listen? Imagine communities. The moss, a green soft my backboard, is a love. Its tingle, its carpet, crudely perfect. A fruiting body is soft to touch, and touch is only the neighbor of love. My flank exposed and damp, alive with quiet, a moist sight in a dense wood. Once I mushroomed in serried ranks along my spine, and someone stayed to watch. They walked around my edges in a circuit until they drew a family, then a town, then a religion around my back. They loved to sit on it. One whispered near my ear, "How many times can you twist a mushroom before it looks like a rose?" Then a hand entered me, warm and long. Then its finger turned. No sound stirred from me, but a day ended. By night, the flesh of my fruiting grew many faces. Some had voices cut from the same material as fences containing tiny houses. Others had eyes tight as clasped hands and as purposeful. My faces gathered at the center of the town and sang into nothing as any other prayer. One by one, the people turned in their sleep, their lovemaking, their unwanted shifts. They all turned in the direction of my own loving. And as each person found me in the center, they hurried away, hiding their own faces. Now the birds trill. I can feel their witness in the contours of my softness. The edgeless are not without defense, I think to myself, as I sprawl in any shape I decide at the moment. I could be a star if I were vain. In fact, I have been. This poem, I'm still figuring out how to read. I'm still figuring out how it lives inside of my body. So, well, here we go. Forever, penultimate, for J. Krishnamurti and David Bohm. I can't speak for myself below, not the first time. My clothes around about my shoulder, the Lord hears. If it isn't the case over there, well, here this sentence must be distorted. The ground is bent, ballads, profane and mundane, on ever-arching back, party till dirt stops inviting, the main thing, a body bag. It's mycelium, fruiting bed to bed. Each head sprouts a unique era. Spores burst from every epoch. These orgasms hoist our agonies aloft. Look out, baby, the Lord's still watching. I was told man was created. It looks like him. Is this true? If so, I will be judged. I will do it stealing back my face from decks of burning tinder. Before I was a child, I was more than a noun. Let it remain it. So and thus, profane, mundane, each, all his professions, so ours. Flee thine, me, mine, fly, a child of walking, undone and wanting here but, nightly boreal wildfires, manatees dead in their native waters, a plague named for the halo of an eclipse, direct action protests visible from satellite becoming time travel, binge watching the future, Donald J. Kessler's warning that our insatiable hankering to network this planet may virtually silence us. Outside, a chorus of crickets is playing, males calling for sex and to be stayed with. The sound of their intimacy will bring about their deaths. Bats and birds, lizards and frogs, though not before new life is sung, without need for thanks. Colonies of fire ants will face a flood as a living raft. The siblings knitting themselves together till buoyant ballast achieved with their own bodies. Of course, only those at the center, the queen and her closest attendants, will avoid drowning. To approach doom with the ease of reaching for car keys. Assured this world isn't wasted without you. This sacrifice is intelligence liberated from individual thought. Even the divine bend to this. Take the gods, even now. They peek from their uncelestial holes, faces, common as dirt, eyes, small and dark, recognizable, replaceable. Their presence is a present, a single moment agreed upon by many, but still only one. The end of knowledge is always returning, having never left, calling its moments back, to be now. All of them now. And I thank you all for being here and for letting some of these poems live outside of me. And this is my last one that is called Poem. If you think of it, every opportunity is last minute. You aren't great, just the best last. Handed a brink, most maybes die in the back of a throat before lips can dawn. Folk like answers. They want their coupons clipped. Maybe my neck isn't straight as a ladder. Each breath is still its own rung. The holes between carry me along, and this may be the first and last altruism. Folk lose hope at the kindness of confusion. I keep spinning around to see who's slogging after me, curse after messy curse. I didn't ask you to follow me, but as long as you're here, let me lean on your shoulder until we cross the next door. Thank you all so much for coming.
Let's give another round for Leslie. So, the young poets and writers in this room, I heard Leslie when I was featuring, and there was an open mic there also, and I was like, oh man, I gotta work with Leslie somehow. And Leslie ended up reaching out to me to do something with CavanKerry. That first reading didn't work out, but then we had this reading going on. So this is a lesson in just shooting your shot, you know? Like, just reach out to places. If you want to get involved in places, just do so, because you never know what's gonna come out of that. Our next featured performer, and let me grab my phone so I don't have to awkwardly take it away later. Katie Ann Turner is a poet and songwriter from Austin, Texas, currently living in Bushwick, Brooklyn. A storyteller at heart, Turner's work explores themes of queer identity and love while reconciling with their religious upbringing. As a former pastor's kid, Turner still looks for God every day, and they keep finding her in music, poetry, and in their community. You can find them performing with their band, Mr. Sister, around the city this summer. Katie Ann Turner.
Hello. Hey. Wow, thank you so much, Dimitri, and everybody. Please give it up one more time for the last poet. Incredible. All right, so I'm going to sing a couple songs for y'all, and I'm going to be reading some poems from a collection I'm working on of golden shovels. I've baked some Bible verses into all of the poems, and they're incredibly blasphemous. A lot of them have to do with sex work and queer love and deconstructing Christian faith, so happy to be here in a church with you all today. Anyway. This first song is, I wrote about my extremely conservative Christian undergrad school. I wrote it right after I got in trouble for smoking weed. It's called A Higher Education. It was the school slogan, actually. A higher education, liberal arts are at the core, and that's the only liberal thing that we let through the door. A higher education, come on, elevate your station. If you give in to temptation, expect righteous indignation. We love God, and we love you, but not as much as we love telling you what to do. And if you're gay, that's okay, as long as you change your mind somewhere along the way. A higher education, our professors are the best. They'll teach you their opinions and then leave out all the rest. A higher education, come on, elevate your station. If the student population thinks they're headed for damnation. We love God, and we love you, but not as much as we love telling you what to do. And if you're queer, don't apply here. Anything that we don't get, we automatically fear. We believe in Jesus, and He believes in you. Unless, of course, you happen to be a Muslim or a Jewish person. We believe in learning the Bible as the absolute truth, and we know our beliefs are right. We don't need any proof. Why? Because we love God, and we love you, but not as much as we love telling you what to do. And if you're gay, that's okay, love the sinner, hate the sin. As long as you change your mind somewhere along the way. A higher education, gonna roll it up and smoke every word I ever read, cause this school is a fucking joke! Alright. So yeah, these are golden shovels, so you can listen for the verse if you happen to hear it in the poem, but they look a little different on the page, so. I'm gonna put this down. Sugar baby, Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, sisters, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think of such things. He is taking me to sushi finally. On our date, he asks me how many brothers I have, and that's all he asks. He talks all through dinner. He's the eldest of two sisters, 41, an oil company exec, newly divorced. He's been reading about military history, whatever. He tells me how refreshing it is to speak to a young girl who can keep up, and it's true, I am clever for 19. He buys us a bottle of whatever costs most, and they don't card me. The woman next to our table stares appalled, and I touch his hand. He is a bit awkward. He's never done this before. I tell him it's my first time too. He is noble. So the first thing he does when we get to the hotel room is check whatever ID I have. This is when I start to get nervous. I laugh when I'm nervous, and I know what I'm doing isn't right, which turns me on, so I laugh at whatever he says and steal away to the bathroom. Before I go, he tells me he lied online. His real name is Daniel, my father's name. I tell him it's Hebrew, for God is my judge. I tell him my name means pure, and it is his turn to laugh. The way he stares at my mouth tells me he'll pay whatever I ask. In the bathroom, I turn on the tub faucet and wash my feet with scalding water. He is surprised when I come out naked. I go to him with my hands behind my back, and he whispers, "Lovely." He pins me to the wall, takes my face gently in his hands, and I name a price before he does whatever he wants and more. I lose count of my orgasms by midnight. He tells me my pain tolerance is admirable. Asks me if I'm sure I've never done anything like this before. I decide now is not the time for truth, so I take him in my mouth like the most excellent beginner. He calls me a good girl, and my whole body moans. I am not good or pure or honest, but he knows I am praiseworthy. And for that, I let him worship me violently until we see the sun. Just when I think I can't take anymore, he falls asleep on my bruised chest. I stroke his hair and wonder if he's dreaming of his ex-wife. I bet he really loved her. I thank God for giving me such a kind man to pay for my sins. I do not repent. I do not sleep. I slip away and go through his things. Swingers Club, Colossians 3:18. Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting to the Lord. Dear husbands, you fuck like you're terrified. You finish and it's frail. Your wives, however, are supernovas in my hand, threatening collapse as they expand. When they submit to their own bodies, you will regret this more than you can understand. She's free to fuck other women because property doesn't steal itself, right? But your closed fist will never bruise our wife's cosmic bliss. Dear husbands, it's funny when you ask to watch, as if having a front row seat to your own obsolescence will make it sweeter. Every touch is a creation story between me, our wife, and the God that runs from your shame. Perhaps it's fitting you take a bite of us. May we rot each rib in your cage. May the smartest of you listen to the stars in our sighs and realize, dear husbands, that love is not the pursuit of power. You fuck like you're terrified, and you should be, of me, not the Lord. Dominatrix, Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. It's time for you to be still. It's time to straddle my boot and beg for air, for pain, beg to know that first love, fear, to tear willing flesh that sings red and pink. I will show you how small, how insignificant miracle you are. I am hurting you and saving you now. Here, Yes, like that. That's good. That's so good. That's so God. Thank you. All right. This song is called JFC. If he were alive today, I'm sure he'd have a lot to say about the way his followers take his name in vain. He'd try out those old miracles, but no one would believe it, 'cause he didn't press record on the devices that he made. Jesus fucking Christ, you sure have taken your sweet time. If you bring my grandma back to life, I'll be sure to share the good news online. If he came to Brooklyn, oh, I'd bring him round the cool kids. Yeah, we dance the night away on LSD. I'll tell him about America and have him ask his dad to come and ask him why he hasn't intervened. Jesus fucking Christ, you sure have taken your sweet time. If you bring my grandma back to life, I'll be sure to share the good news online. Oh, I'll be sure to share the good news online. If he were alive today, I think I'd slap him in the face just to watch him turn the other cheek. I'd tell him I was sorry, then I'd post him to my story and be grateful he looked nothing like me. Jesus fucking Christ, you sure have taken your sweet time. If you bring my grandma back to life, I'll be sure to share the good news online. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, you sure have taken your sweet time. If you bring my grandma back to life, I'll be sure to share the good news online. Alright, I've got one more for y'all, a poem. It's called Faith and Fury. John 3:17. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world. I have been angry with religion for so long, I almost forgot God is not to blame. They did not mold me into a hypocrite. They did not send me here for a reason. They did not assign my father his demons. They did not make his firstborn son gay to teach them both a lesson. They did not put unwavering faith into my mother to watch her suffer as the people so against this world forced her purity and punished her softness. God is to me what water is to gravity. Condemn me if you will, but if everlasting life exists, it is more curse than gift. The rain did not ask to fall. The ocean did not ask to house such crushing depths. This world will not steal my soul. But I know it's easier to tip back the glass and swallow than it is to face a reflection at night. It is easier to save myself the pain of waking up, but the waking is not evil. Neither am I, neither are you, neither is the world. Thank you.
All right, another round of applause for Katie. I was telling her, I didn't know what to expect. Oh my God, that was amazing. Okay, so let me introduce Felice Belle, which her debut collection, Viscera, which spits fire, by Etruscan Press 2023, is quirky, accessible, pop culture obsessed poetry for fans of 90 Day Fiancé and Entezaki Shange. As a poet and playwright, she has performed at the Apollo Theater, Joe's Pub, Ted Woman, and Ted City 2.0. She is a lecturer in the low-res MFA program at St. Francis College and Artist Network Director for the global nonprofit Narrative 4. Everyone, Felice Belle.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
That was a great introduction. So now I'm going to do a really introspective set. I'm not going to spit fire. I want to thank Dimitri, and I got to get this right, CavanKerry.
Woo!
Yes! For having me. Super excited to be here with all these amazing poets, and just nice to be able to be in the rooms again with people reading poetry. So I'm going to start with this poem called You Are Here. Here is the hole in your bathroom ceiling, roof water rains through. Here is the Rubik's Cube man you cannot resolve. Here is your rented hatchback economy, Thunder Road on repeat, doing 85 on the Garden State. Here is your last date. Here are the shoes, dress, Spanx you will wear for your best friend's wedding and then never again. Here's where you think you could be a vegetarian. Here's your first love, calling from Texas, hauling fuel down an 8-lane highway. Here is the text you sent like a 12-year-old because you're still too scared to say. Here is the phone call you should have made. Here is your heart whole, first time since first love. Here is the one you were trying to forget when you sent that text to the one who can commit to everything except you. Here is what you learned about truth. Claim you want more, and she will make you kneel in reverence. Here you are, looking for parking when you no longer have a car. Here's what Freud has to say. The hole in the ceiling is a metaphor for your repressed trauma. Here is the space you filled with myth, made real because you believe. Here is God giving do-overs. Here is your hard pack of cigarettes. Say a prayer over your part in things and lay the past to rest. Here is the order of events. Here is an alternate theory of the crime. Here is the gap between signifier and signified. Here is a sign. It doesn't end here. I mean, I do appreciate an audience of poets and poetry lovers who clap after every poem.
Yes!
Yeah, right? Like, it's always that weird thing. I'm like, are we gonna clap? We're gonna clap. Thank you, Karen. So I love Law and Order, specifically SVU. My best friend is a private investigator with a license. I have no license, but I think I'm a detective because I've seen so many episodes, and she hates that. And so this poem is actually from a two-woman show we did. It was called "The Following Does Not Depict Any Actual Person or Event." When the detectives come to question you, keep gardening, lifting boxes, cleaning the gills off the fish. New Yorkers can't stop moving. You need to pick up your kids. You wish you could be of more help, but you're late for the airport, class. If there's cash on the body, it's not a robbery. Every suspect has means, motive, and opportunity. The evidence speaks. The president of the Abstinence Club could be the rapist. They recycle storylines. It's not the first time the killer is an adult pretending to be a high school student. Trust your gut. A patriot can be turned. We can't all be good. It's the third law of physics. Equal and opposite. Can't have the high without the low. If it feels personal, you're too close to the case. So a friend of mine broke up with her partner of 2 years, and then he read her this poem that was in my book, and they got back together. And I'm not saying this poem brought them back together. I did. Thank you. Poems are powerful. And interestingly enough, I told her I was going to do a whole set of B-sides, poems I never read from the book, because they're just some poems I never read. And I did not do a whole set of B-sides, but I had never read this one at a reading. So this book came out. So this is for her. I'm not going to say her name, because I won't hurt her business. This one goes out to. I have a rational mind. It has never worked in the past. There is no evidence to suggest it is mathematically possible for us. But I am an against the odds kind of girl, afraid to call the bluff with play money, but reckless with real dollars. I am bringing back capri pants and traditional gender roles. I'll be at lunch with the ladies. You make a plan, you do the work. You figure out how to get my attention while I'm walking home from school, books in hand, wearing a poodle skirt and crinoline. You pitch rocks at my window while my parents are asleep. Cell phones could never best the balcony scene. You ring lilies, letter, boombox, love that cannot wait for sunrise, some gesture that must be made tonight. You wonder how to make yourself holy enough for the unearned blessing. You listen to the late night call in a long distance dedication. I'm thinking of a special lady, Delilah. She's the one for me. And Delilah will ask, have you told her how you feel? And you'll say no, but I want to. And Delilah will tell you to say it with a song. Since we're already in love poems, let's do another. So I teach at St. Francis College, which is where I met Kitty Ann Turner, who's fantastic, and also Dana, who's fantastic. And we did like a faculty reading, and one of the students stood up and was like, "Are any of your love poems happy?" I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know what you were doing. This is called For the Record. Side A. If you believe in destiny, regret is unnecessary. What is was meant to be. Love the past the way you could not love me. Memories are more precious now, they are all you have left. Collect them like coins, replay the moment we met, like it is track number 6 of Sade's greatest hits. Is it a crime? There are no victims here, I was your accessory. Tongue-tag name on your neck to let the world know I was there. You entered effortlessly as air, rubbed my belly when I had cramps. We slow dance like old folks, always and forever embrace. Hands kneading my waist, still swaying long after the record stopped playing, still swaying. Side B. This is where the real hits are. These songs won't get airplay, don't make the pop charts. This is art. Open to interpretation like images in clouds, constantly changing. Too wicked to be loved, what we made were fast getaways before the break of day. We made shades of gray on bone-colored walls. You turn lights on and off, look in the fridge as if you live here, like it is home away from all other obligations. My friends cannot comprehend the intricacies of we, why I justify lies. At night in Crown Heights, truth is irrelevant as SAT scores. Subjective is room temperature. Love is not all daffodils. and open fields. It is a subway seat you politely refuse to sit on because your ass is bigger than that. You won't fit. You will only piss off the woman reading the Post, squeezing into a space too small for you. Still wake with your taste on my mind, still mistake you for my soulmate sometimes. You are not who you pretend to be, neither am I. That's how we survive. Hey.
I told you.
All right, I have 2 more poems. Nina and Frida entered the chat. There are a lot of persona poems in the book. These biddies with their deadbolt backs take naps while I construct canvas from corset cast. Art does not wait until you are well. What they did not understand, the training was classical. Chopin, motherfuckers. Carry on like she's some backwater bluesy. Least common denominator reduced me. Addiction is not a hobby. No one will hear what I see unless they inhabit my body. Surgeons don't count. The wrong lover, maybe. Muse is reality. Want more than you're given. Be difficult as necessary. Loving a man who belongs to the world is like lying in lava. No one asks if he can have it all. Let him knock you down, throw you up against the wall, put a frame on it. I don't want the preacher, I want the pulpit. So during the pandemic, a musician named Chase Alodia reached out to me. He's an amazing drummer. And he was doing a project where he's commissioning poets in Brooklyn to write about their neighborhood. And I feel like if it was any other time besides the pandemic, I would have ignored him because I did not know who he was. I don't really like strangers. But it was the pandemic, and I had never written about my neighborhood, so I just said yes, right? So this poem came out of that project, and it's not in the book, but I love it. And I'm grateful to Chase because I feel like it wouldn't exist, right, without his email. So it's called, and I live in Prospect, Lefferts Gardens in Brooklyn, if that's important. It's called K&M Open 24/7. My guy Amir shouts, "My queen!" Every time I walk in. I want this level of fanfare everywhere I go. My parents left Brooklyn with 2 baby boys because bullets flew through their first floor window in the building next to the one I now live in. What matters is how you remember it. They don't understand why I moved back to the block they left years past. I don't see anyone except my elderly neighbor and his dog outside every day around 5. Throw out trash, talk news, shake head. Weeks pass from should be over soon to when will it end? Dad says the neighborhood hasn't changed, pharmacy's still there. High rise on Linden says I'll be priced out in 2 years. Mom says there was no bullet. What matters is neighborhood kids playing handball on how you remember the wall outside their first floor flat. It was a ball that flew through years past. Maybe months since I seen my guy. I work days now, he tells me. I only leave the house at night. We chop it up through new strains and plexiglass. I am afraid of everything. He says, Allah is my mask. I want that level of faith everywhere I go.
All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of participation here, all right? On the count of 3, we're just gonna say, "My queen," and through the direction of the voice, all right? 1, 2, 3, my queen! Thank you very much. Give a round of applause. Okay, so we are about to have our last reader of the evening. This person is so kind and so sweet to me. And I'm pretty sure by judging who's in the audience, he is also very sweet to all of you. This person is none other than Joseph Legaspi. Joseph Legaspi is the author of the poetry collections Amphibian, forthcoming from Northwestern University Press, Threshold and Imago, both from CavanKerry Press, which we do have in the back. Threshold, not Imago, but that is on our website. And 3 chapbooks: Postcards, Ghostbird Press, Aviary, Bestiary, Organic Weapon Arts, and Subway's Thrush Press. His works have appeared in Poetry, American Poetry Review, New England Review, The Common, and Best of the Net. Everyone, Joseph Legaspi.
So great to be here. So I'm going to start actually with a couple of creation myth poems. I love creation myth. So I figured it's good to start, with that in mind. So I'll start with a poem. And actually, this is a version of the greatest creation myth there is, which again, Katie knows. Of Genesis, right? It's the Bible. And this poem is called The Homosexual Book of Genesis. It is a short book. God, in his righteous glory, conjures up everything. The separation of light and dark, firmaments, land and sea, vegetation and beasts. On the 6th day, God, in his image, creates Adam and Adam, sons of his patriarchal regime. Then God rests. Then no begetting, no litanies of descendants, hence fatal rivalry between brothers, golden calf worship, and heavy rain are avoided. No exodus, locusts, thorns, crucifixion, and resurrection. God rests absolutely, the 7th day eternal. The serpent remains, coiled up a fruitless tree, but as God's will, there, calcified in the larynxes of Adam and Adam, desire. What's great about poems too is like they are inspired not only by what's present, right, but also they're created by what's absent, right? So I remember reading a poem by Yusuf Komunyak called My Father's Love Letters, and I thought to myself, how come I've never found love letters that my father has written to my mother? So this actually is it's a version of this. It's contemplating that, not finding, because my mom was like really hot. Any man would actually write love letters to my mother. So here's my version. It's very eatable too. So imagine love poem to my mother from my father. My mermaid, I watch you scaling milkfish. Your hands and arms were silver, and your body flecked with otherworldly raindrops. You were a silver mine to be mined. Perched on a high branch of your mother's mango tree, I saw only a glimmer of the blade as you scaled the fish, up and down strokes, repeatedly, gracefully, like an artist whose gift flows through her veins. A strand of your hair danced across your forehead. Sweat trickled down the joyous strained lines of your neck and your breasts. Like twin bells, I heard their transcendental sounds. The glistening naked milkfish escaped the warm Pacific for such honor. Kismet, chosen by Neptune, it entangled itself on the fisherman's net and beckoned you with its fresh, clear eyes. You sliced its stomach, sweet blade twisting in me, scooped out its innard, the heart, pulled out the gills from underneath its head's protected plates. I almost fell off the tree. There was a deep aching in my chest and my breathing was shallow. Crouched beside the spigot, your brown arms pumped briskly for water as you clean the fish, cradled by the softest hand, blood and scales streaming onto the earth. Didn't you hear the fish mouthing my words as you were salting it? Do unto me the spy up the thick fruit tree as you have done unto the milkfish. One day, I hope to recite for you these verses, and in my voice you will hear from across the oceans surrounding the archipelago, as if reverberated through the ages, the voice of our future son. So I'm actually going to read a couple of poems from the new manuscript, the new book that's coming out. So this one actually is about, well, I'm just going to read it. It's called Hamburger. So it has an epigraph by the chef Dan Barber, who owns the Blue Hill Farm and the restaurant here in Westwood. So the epigraph goes, "The great curse of American food culture is that we have no food culture." Chef Dan Barber. Hamburger. In 1984, when I arrived in these United States, pastel neon in the dream pastiche desert of Olympics-fisted Los Angeles, I wanted my first meal to be a hamburger, drenched in tomato, not banana ketchup, squeezed between white sesame seed buns, not pandesal, Filipino morning roll eaten sweetly any time of the day. That had to wait. On arrival in a town called Belle, I was served rice under pork chicken adobo, and the rest of my first week a feast as if I've never left. Pancit, garnished with shredded veggies for longevity, oxtails, pork hocks, calf's feet, bisque in peanut butter sauce, pig stewed in shrimp paste, bitter melon, chayote, achiote. The women lived practically in the kitchen, how things had not yet changed. My grandmother chopping, stir-frying, frying, boiling, steaming, mashing, melodious sounds that carried the bewildering loneliness of a foreign home momentarily out of doors. Since the table was not big enough, we ate together, scattered throughout the 2-bedroom, 1-bath house shared by 3 families. On mats on the floor, we children loved sleeping side by side, hot dogs rotating on a carnival seller's grill. But I was growing impatient, the fast food that would transform me into an American I hadn't ingested, a kind of superhero pill. Until my first day of school in my 7th grade cafeteria, where I was served a round patty of compressed meat, boiled, charred, yawning open-faced next to curly potatoes, glowing a cartoon meteorite orange. I could not contain my joy. I tore and poured on packets of ketchup, discarded the wilted iceberg like fabric softener, clamped the hamburger between my shaky hands and chomped momentously into my first taste of America. Salty, starchy, chewy beginning to a lifetime consumption, powdered with sugar, melted as margarine, deep fried, blue dyed, ice over, jelloed, marshmallowed, popcorn, bite size, on the run. And I love that burger. The other thing I like too is like the coffee cake. I don't know if you guys had that at your public school cafeteria. Weren't famous like that crusted. This is like the title poem of my manuscript called Amphibians. Amphibians. In Greek, amphibian means on both sides of life, as in amphibians live on land and in water, as in immigrants leave lands and cross waters. While amphibians lay shellless eggs, immigrants give birth to Americans. In water, gilled tadpoles sprout limbs. On land, amphibians develop lungs. Immigrants develop lungs. Breathe in pine, fuel, and cold atmosphere. Amphibians' damp skin oxygenates. Immigrants toil and slumber deathly. Their colors brighten, they camouflage. They've been known to fall out of the sky, completely at home in the rain. A couple of prose poems. And one of them, you guys know Bear Grylls? Yeah. Right? He's like this guy who is, he's like an adventurer. You know, he would like parachute into like the Amazon and survive. He's like a survivalist, right? But what I love about Bear Grylls is that, like, I don't know, he's always swimming naked, right? So like in the afternoon, I'm like flipping channels and you see like, you know, Bear Grylls, you know, big bear's naked butt. So I was like, cool, yeah. Bear Grylls, right? So this is called Urban Jungle. On primetime TV, which means nothing anymore, Bear Grylls, survival expert, adventurer, Eton grad, scavenges a carcass in the Zambian wilderness. Before hyenas arrive, he slices the flesh of a furry leg amid a swirl of feasting flies. It would be safer if he cooks it, he narrates, but there's no time for fire, so he bites into pink and grizzle. His thin upper lip leaves me a quiver. I then cannot masticate my tacos carnitas. My guacamole greens darker. Once he consumes his protein, Bear gallops deeper into scrubland, strategizing the arduous intricacies of staying alive. He'll spend the molasses night atop a baobab, the tree of life, which fruits he harvests with logs flung. I fetch the tiramisu gelato from the freezer. Bear dodges hippos, elephants, climbs cliffs, discovers safe water. I'm buzzed on Pinot Noir. By this time, Bear has devoured a bevy of coveted proteins. Caterpillars squeezed empty of his green innards, roasted. Bullfrogs, fish with a thorn tree branch, once used by the Rhodesian army for torture. I sip my cup of Darjeeling. Survival is such hard work. So I never do this. Like, I never invite my students to but for some reason this time we're like, I want to invite my students because I miss them deathly. And I do, like, you know, the last 3 years, like, I've had like the most amazing groups of students, and they're so talented, and I learned so much from them. So this one, I dedicate this all to my students, but in particular, I want to dedicate this to the L, because she's my prose poem poet. So, and she loves this poem, so I wanted to like read this for her and for everyone else. Of course, I love all my students. This one's called A Subway Ride. His artfully unkempt strawberry blonde head sports outsized headphones like a contemporary bust. Behold the innocence of the freckles, ripe pout of cherry lips. As if the mere sight of the world hurts him, he squints greenly and applies saline drops. You dream him crying over you. For the duration of a subway ride, you fall blindly in love until he exits, or you exit, returning home to the one you truly love, to ravish him. I think I've time for one more right here. So, happy Pride. Two more? Okay. Okay, two more.
No pressure, no pressure.
So I'm gonna read two gay poems. And I love reading these love poems when my husband's not here, because he hates it, and like he cries. And it embarrasses me. No, it doesn't. I love when he cries, and I love that I make him cry. You know, the power dynamic of this marriage is apparent. So let's see. Where's this? I can't find this poem. It's called V-neck T-shirt sonnet. If I can find it, because I wasn't intending on reading this poem. Here it is. So it's a sonnet. V-neck T-shirts. That's stupid. V-neck T-shirt sonnet. I love a white V-neck T-shirt on you. Two cotton strips racing to a point they both arrive at. There. Vigor barely contained. Flaming hair, colorless. Fenced in skin that shines. Cool drop of hem, soft and lived in. So unlike my father. To bed you go. Flushed with fur in a rabbit's burrow, or nest for a flightless bird brooding. Let me be that endangered species, huddled in the vessel of the inverted triangle, gape-mouthed of a great white fish on the verge of striking, poised to devour and feed on skin and all. And I want to end with this poem. Love poems. I love ending with love poems. To this like a gay love poem. And actually, this poem originated, I would say 75, 80% of this poem was my actual vows at my wedding. And my good friend Laura was there. And what's so, you don't know what the trajectory of a poem is, when you write something and you put it out in the world. And so this is like a poem that keeps coming back to me in terms of, even this summer, like I got a couple of emails, people asking me if they can read this poem at their wedding. So that for me is like the best. That's why, part of the reason why we write, right? You want to affect people in such a way, and you want to be part of their lovemaking, right? And I love that story about that poem, reconciling, your friend and partner. So this one's called Vows for a Gay Wedding. And thank you again for coming. Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Felice, for your incredible work. Vows for a Gay Wedding. What was unforeseen is now a bird orbiting this field. What wasn't a possibility is present in our arms. It shall be, and it begins with you. Our often misunderstood kind of love deems dangerous, how it frightens and confounds and enrages, how strange, unfamiliar. Our love carries all those and the contrary. It is most incandescent. So I vow to be brave, clear a path through jungles of shame and doubt and fear. I'm done with silence, I proclaim. It shall be, and it sings from within. Truly, we are enraptured with witness, urge, and urgency. I vow to love in all seasons. When you're summer, I'm watermelon balled up in a sky blue bowl. When I'm autumn, your foliage ablaze in New England. When in winter, I am the tender scarf of warm mercies. When in spring, you are the burgeoning buds. I vow to love you in all places, high plains, prairies, hills, and lowlands. In our dream-laden bed, cradled in the nest of your neck, deep in the plum. It shall be, and it flows with you. We'll leap over the waters and barbaric rooftops. You embrace my resilient metropolis. I adore your nourishing wilderness. I vow to love you in primal ways. I vow to love you in infinite forms. In our separateness and composites, to dust and stars in the ever after. Intrepid travelers, lovers, and family, we have arrived. Look, the bird has come home to roost. Thank you.
Joseph, Felice, Leslie, and Katie Ann. One more round of applause for all these people. Thank you so much, all. This is really why we do it. CavanKerry is more than just a press. We are also a group of friends, and it's really great when we get to collaborate with beautiful, beautiful people such as yourselves. Thank you all for being here. This is the end